Valence channels his inner Rick Deckard on this week's episode of Star Wars Weekly. Hello fellow Star Wars fans and welcome back to the channel. I want to start things off by having a very disappointing announcement. We got the word from Diamond Distributors, the main distributors for all the different publishers of comics, saying that they are halting any further printing of the comics coming out in the foreseeable future. So that's huge for the industry because now this means that our comic shops are not going to get stocked with comics. It bodes very not very good for what's going to happen in the future, and a lot of these comic stores are living, week to week based on these comic books. I mean, I know my local comic shop, that's all they have is comics. They don't sell games or any other kind of thing. So for this, it's very worrying for me, as a consumer, but feeling for the people that own these comic shops. It's a very, very tumultuous time. But the good thing is we do have access to these new comics in a digital format. So, usually I show you guys the cover of the actual physical comic, and I can't do that this week because I was only able to read it on Marvel.com. So at least there's that. That's the silver lining on all this. So let's jump into Bounty Hunters issue number 2. It's called Galaxy's Deadliest Part 2. And this is after the events of the Empire Strike Back. We have Valence, we have a new character called Tonga, who is a human female. We also have Boba Fett, and we have Bossk. And, well, the previous issue, we set up the whole crux of this, at least the very first arc of this ongoing series, is there was a job a couple years before the events of A New Hope that went bad. This person called Lash, she is a female Nautolan, really cool design, by the way. She ends up pulling a 180 on the job and killing the person that was, giving them the job, essentially. So now they are being hunted. She was being hunted, and she has basically gone into the shadows since. And now we pick up after the events that Empire Strikes Back, and we have all these characters in their different parts of their life right now. They're all separated. They're not part of a crew at this point, and they're all finding out from different sources that this person that has crossed them, their boss, Lash, is out there, and she's out there on the prowl. So now they're all like, oh, wait, I gotta put what I'm doing on hold to go after her, and that's where we get into this month's comic issue, where it's all about where these characters are and where they're going to find this person, and eventually they're all going to meet up, and we find out by the end of the issue, yes, we do see Valence and we do see Bossk meeting up, but first we pick up with Valence, and he's on a familiar planet. If you have read the Tarkin novel, we go to Iradu, I think that's how you pronounce it, and that's where Tarkin grew up. And we see that, Valence is trying to find information on where Lash is. He goes to an old contact, and that sparks a flashback of him and his first encounter with Lash. And I really like this scene because it shows how Valence, after he had left the Empire, remember, Valence has rich history. There's so many comics right now, from the Imperial Cadet miniseries to the Target Vader miniseries, all these rich stories that really develop him as a character, so you can find out about that beforehand. But we do find out he really dislikes the Empire for what they have done to him. So when he sees the Empire picking on this kid, he decides to stand up for them, and he gets the attention of Lash, and that's how they meet, and how he becomes in good graces with her to eventually get the job that she crosses with him. So we find out that he has to go and channel his inner Rick Deckard, because with his cybernetics, he's able to actually analyze the surveillance system, and he sees that Boba Fett was the one that killed this contact that would have had the information on Lash's whereabouts. So he's able to intensify on the image into the reflection of Boba Fett's helmet to actually see that this guy is, lip syncing the words. He's able to read the guy's lips. So that to me was pretty cool, seeing the detective capabilities of Valence. We look at this guy in this issue, he kicks some serious butt. I mean, there's no doubt about that. With the stormtroopers just going at it, getting shot up, he still survives the cybernetics. But to see him take things on a different round and go a little bit more on the detective work was really cool. We catch up with this character of Tonga, and she is a new character in Star Wars. Her brother was actually killed, I think it was implied that her brother was killed by Lash. So she's kind of on the revenge retribution mission. She goes to the Mourner's Whale, which are the people that were crossed by Lash, and she fights through all these different guards and everything. And mind you, this is some serious violence in Star Wars. She straight up decapitates somebody with one of those garrote wire things, and it's pretty gruesome, but it's really cool. And she ends up saying, like, meeting the guy and finding out what this guy met with Lash, with where Lash's whereabouts are. And then by the end of the issue, we see that Bossk and we see that Valence meet up, and they are on this graveyard planet looking at the Nautolan, Lash's parents, which there's a secret message of coordinates to where she is going to be next. So yeah, this issue is pretty awesome because it really gives me that feeling of, you know, when I was growing up, like the violence and the mystery behind the bounty hunters in The Empire Strikes Back, their cutthroat antics, the way that Bossk reacts to Valence and about how he's on his own doing this. Now, I don't know if they're ever going to team up. It seemed like when they were pitching the story, at least when we first heard of it, that these bounty hunters would all be working as a team, but maybe they aren't. But it's going to be interesting if they do, because this is the griminess and the dirtiness of this kind of area of the galaxy. When you think of the bounty hunters, I think of what these images evoke as just very deadly, very harsh kind of way of life, and to see that portrayed in the pages is just phenomenal. So all in all, this is a really good issue. I am so on board with these comics, and I think there's lots of room for different characters to pop up that we've read in different novels, and it's going to be quite the ride to see where this goes, to see what happens with Boba Fett. I would have liked to see a little bit more Boba Fett in this issue, but that is okay. So what did you guys think of Bounty Hunters issue number 2? Are you on board with this series as I am? Let's talk about it in the comment section down below. If you guys are new to the channel, I talk about Star Wars on a weekly basis. I've been doing a lot with the High Republic. I just put out a video this week on the Nihil, the new villains in the Star Wars galaxy coming in the High Republic. So if you like this video, if you like anything about Star Wars, it's a good idea to subscribe to this channel so you'll never miss another video of me talking about Star Wars. That's going to do it for me, Starrapter. Thank you so much for watching, and may the Force be with you always. Thanks for checking out the video. Please hit that thumbs up symbol. It helps me know that I'm making content that you guys enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, I also include 2 videos down below you guys should check out. And please consider subscribing to this channel. It helps support me, and it notifies you guys of when I get new videos up on the channel. You can also contact me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Starrapter.